I had this client and they were talking. There it's a couple and they were talking, and she made a comment about, yeah, a lot of people just kind of flock to him, and they just kind of like gravitate towards him, and she really couldn't understand like why people like gravitate towards him, and it was almost like why people kind of gravitate towards him but don't gravitate towards me, in a way, but not in a jealous way. Wasn't that at all. And Spirit gave me something about that, and she just didn't like it. She didn't like how people just kind of like approach him, and we was talking about keeping him protected and et cetera, because a lot of people flock to him. It wasn't in a jealous manner or anything like that. She wanted to protect him, and then Spirit showed me and was like, he's a god. And so a god has to have a goddess to protect him. Vice versa. A god has to protect the goddess. Stay with me. And during this session, and we're talking, and during this session, I remember that she made a comment about her wanting to, like, elevate and be a fairy. Like, walk into her fairy light is energy, is what she said. And Spirit was like, I had already knew that they were not, Spirit already told me that they are not equally yoked. But the way my gift comes, sometimes, once you're in my energy field, stuff comes to me at different times, because in a session, there's so much going on. That's why one session would not work. There's so much going on in a session that sometimes everything, so many different conversations, so many different energies. I got your ancestors here, I got you here, I got this here, like, it's a lot. So I have to, like, later on I'll get more. But back to the story. And Spirit told me today, it was like, that's because he's a god and she's a fairy. A god and a fairy don't go together. Sometimes we be trying to mix, like, be in these relationships, and Spirit also gave me all these years, just because of all these years, all these years isn't enough to hold on to someone or be with someone. That's number one. Number two, a god doesn't be with a fairy. Now, God may sleep with a fairy, but to, like, be with a fairy, no. A god needs a goddess, because a goddess has to protect a god. Before all the new downloads, Spirit already showed me that she was too weak to protect him. But now that it's being broken down, it's like she's too weak because she's a fairy and he's a god. A god needs a goddess to protect him and keep him safe. A goddess needs a god to protect her and keep her safe. That's the only way it works. Just like a king needs a queen needs a king to protect her. There's levels to this. Everybody has a position, period. Everything is spiritual, and everybody has a position. And like I said, a god may sleep with a fairy if that's what he chose to do, but he's like equally yoked. He would never be equally yoked with a fairy at all. Those that get what I just said, get it. Because I know that sounds like, but those that get it, you gonna get it. Like, y'all be blessed. You don't know who I am. I am Lovely Lotus AC. I am a spiritual life coach. I'm the one you call when you're ready to get it all together. Y'all be blessed.